Now, upholding a work ethic and a good work culture helps you to improve your career, but also it helps to create a conducive environment, especially for everyone at a workplace, and a good relationship with your bosses and workmates as well. And of course, people who possess very strong work ethics do go ahead and get promotions. And of course, these certain principles help to guide their behavior and improve their efficiency at work, leading to a very highly productive work environment. Now, we are talking work ethic and work culture together because these, as of course, Mr. Ochichi has already mentioned, are part of one of the five very strong pillars of an enterprise or business. Mr. Ochichi, when you talk about work culture and work ethic, I want to start first of all with what you think is the importance of the positive work ethic and the positive work culture in promoting employment and investment, especially amongst enterprises and in the workplace.
A work culture that will deliver value for the customer must entail at least two things, and I call them the two C's: competence and character. Competence means that you can deliver the expected solution. You have what it takes, you have the skills to deliver the solution. Now, when you have got that competence, the next thing that we will now be looking at is to what extent can you be relied upon in terms of availability, in terms of keeping promises, in terms of delivering exactly what the customer expects to get.
Yeah.
I remember earlier on talking about things to do with functionality of the solution, simplicity of the solution, the service and the speed at which the solution is delivered. These elements that bring value to the customer are premised on the employee having competencies as well as the character to deliver these requirements of the customer. So, in effect, the moment somebody's work ethics, work culture is geared towards delivering value for the customer, then you have hit what I call the soft spot where you will be needed. And it will be seen not just by the customer, it will be seen by your colleagues, it will be seen by the bosses, it will be seen by stakeholders who matter. What I'm driving at here is that Ugandans should recognize the fact that building work ethics and culture is in your own interest. Do not be driven or impelled to go there because somebody is supervising and checking on you.
Yeah.
Do it for your own good, because the moment you do it, it is seen, it is rewarded.
Yeah. Wow. When you talk about that integrity, especially in workplaces today, many young people really work under supervision. There's a lack of self-drive. And I think this is putting back our work culture in as far as the working environment is concerned. Many people, like you said, they will look, if the manager is around, you'll see them. You will see they'll do everything possible to be on time. They'll be smart. They'll be able to make the reports. But the moment there's no one to supervise, there's this laxity that comes. How can you foster discipline, especially you personally? How can you foster self-discipline at work to see that you work under minimum supervision and still do the work you're expected to do?
The best advice I can give to anybody who wants to achieve a trait of self-drive is to recognize that the best supervisor you can ever have is the customer. And the customer does not please anyone for the sake of pleasing anyone. The customer has got options. So seek to please the customer. If your boss has not recognized you at the place of work, provided the customer is happy, get on with that work. Number two, If you've been given specific terms of reference, clarify with the person who has given you the terms. Learn from whoever you want to learn from. But whatever you've learned, seek to do it and exceed what you learned. In other words, to the extent possible, try to deliver beyond expectations. Self-drive is about seeing the goals you've been given the assignment you've been given, delivering upon it, but exceeding it without necessarily shouting about it.
Yeah.
So once you begin to see that, what happens then is this: you cease to be concerned about protecting a job. You now begin to see yourself beginning to flow into a career. People who protect jobs are more concerned about the contract, about pleasing the boss, about appearing to be a useful employee. But people who protect a career are all the time saying, how do I use my current employer to become the best chef I have ever been?
Yeah.
In other words, you now use your current employer to practice all it takes to create that ability to serve a customer without necessarily being checked upon.
Yeah.
That means goal setting. That means continuous learning. That means whatever the rules that have been given, you obey them, but also challenge yourself and just say, the rules I'm required to obey here are premised on certain assumptions. Are those assumptions still valid? That I should be reporting at 8? Today with technology, must I really be reporting at this particular time? Can't I even be starting to attend my customers even at 7 o'clock? So assumptions guide all the rules that you made at the workplace. But those assumptions can be improved by human being because they were put in place by human being.
Yeah.
And that requires you to be able to appreciate and ask yourself, what is it that I did today that made my customer to be so happy? I need to know it deliberately. What is it that I did today that hurt my customer? I need to get out of that. You yourself, don't wait whether the boss saw you or the customer saw you. You yourself just say, what is it I did today that made the customer happy? But what is it that I didn't do today that I think so and so somewhere has done, and I need also to keep doing it? That kind of inquisitiveness builds the kind of work culture which builds a person. A great work culture, great work ethics makes a worker to grow. And that growth will be in terms of your skills.
Yeah.
And the moment the skills begin to grow, invariably, money will follow.
Yeah, absolutely. Mr. Chichi, also, there's the point of customer care in Uganda. When you look at how our, especially I'll use the hotel industry, for example, our hotel industry should be one of the fastest growing, but is not. When you look at Kenya, they have less tourist attractions, yet when you look at their hotel business, it's growing way faster than ours. And one of the things that we are lacking in is that customer care, especially when it comes to the hotel industry and the experts in the hotel industry. We find that we need expatriates to actually run these hotels. We need expatriates to run these accommodations because of what the culture they have, when it comes to the hotel industry and hospitality, right? You get into a restaurant, you sit down, and people just keep on walking past you for like 5 minutes. And then later on, they remember to come by and ask you, do you need the menu? And sometimes they don't even greet you. It's just in a few places that we see a very different work culture. What do you think is actually hindering us in growing our hospitality industry? Yet we have a very great wealth of tourism, very many tourist sites with so much potential that we haven't explored yet.
I want to start by saying that when it comes to the hotel sector, or indeed any other service industry, my message to anybody working in that space is that the customer is in the kitchen. In other words, you are the one who came to me when I took a seat at the restaurant and you gave me a menu. I selected it. If you do not go and immediately go and order, I'm seeing what you are doing. If I see somebody who comes later and you seem to be attending that one much closely because you went to school together, and I see the food going there before mine, I see it. In the services industry, the customer is in the kitchen. He's seeing everything that you are doing. Unlike where somebody is packing this water, and then you find a bottle of sealed packed water. You don't know how it was done. But in the services industry, saloon, aviation, insurance, banking, hotel accommodation, all those are areas of epitome sense of care. And if you do not exercise that, nobody will be bothered about the kind of people you have employed. Nobody will be bothered whether you got the best chairs, the best bedrooms for people to sleep in. The care is so key. And I mention this because when Ugandans start thinking about having no opportunity to get good jobs, it starts with the kind of quality of service you give. When the quality of service delivers good profits, invariably the people who brought good profits must be paid well.
Yes.
Alan is delivering a lot of goals for Man City. Man City wants a lot of goals and trophies. In the end, the price for the man will go up. The same thing with an employee who is delivering good profits. Any hotel owner, any service outlet owner who lets go a person who delivers the profits just because you are not willing to share a bit more the profit you've acquired with the person who has brought in the profit. If you are not ready to do that, you lose that employee. Because this world is very, very fair. A good employee with a good work attitude will open many doors he even didn't knock. And they will come his way and will be accompanied with good salaries, good promotions, good treatment at the workplace.
Yes, absolutely. So there's always a reward for this work ethic.
All the time. And the issues about age disappear. That's why you'll find somebody that is 30s, the boss of people in their 50s. And those fellows in their 50s will actually say, much as they may grumble in the open, behind the closed doors or in their own bedrooms when they are sleeping, they will be saying, much as I hate this young man, he's good. He's delivering for us the money and the business. Once you are a great employee, an employee who delivers value to your employer, the age will disappear. Even the paper qualifications will be toned down. All we can now do for the sake of ensuring some harmony, we now take you for some accelerated short course. And just say, he also went to this course and he even has the certificate. But we are doing all that not because you needed it. We are doing that now to create harmony in the organization. Not because you lacked it. You had it, but we wanted you to be able to supervise these fellows here with master's degrees in leisure and hospitality, these fellows here with specialization in kitchen activities, and then do it with confidence and happiness.
Mr. Chichi, what role do you think government can play, especially in our institutions today, to foster a very strong work ethic and strong work culture? Because when I look back in my high school, we used to have programs like Junior Achievers, entrepreneurship programs, and they would mentor us on how to really have strong work ethics. Because in school today, what really matters is you getting the grades and having that school amongst the top 5 schools, right? But this is not enough to produce a Ugandan who is ready to face the Ugandan economy today, which is so diverse and dynamic in as far as opportunity and, of course, the threats are concerned within the working environment. So how can we inculcate this working culture and how can we foster this, especially from government and other institutions in schools, to see that young men and women come out of school with already a very strong work ethic, despite, of course, of their success academically?
I think the first point that government is doing right now is revisiting the syllabi. that we have been running in our schools, right from primary through secondary and then university and post degree courses. What has happened is that now we're introducing skills-based courses to be part of the syllabus of most of these learners. We're also introducing the subject of entrepreneurship and enterprise management in our schools quite early. And again, that to me is a good thing. But I also want to say that even as we do all this, we want to get our schools to have a calendar or a timetable at this college or at school which allows these youngsters to start interacting with practitioners of their different aspirations as early as possible. Last week, I had a chance to go and be with my former school, St. Mary's College, Kisubi, and I was talking to senior 5s and senior 6. I told them, you are at St. Mary's College, Kisubi. Your parents are paying school fees. Do you know where the money is coming from? Some of you, the school fees is coming from family enterprises. Have you ever gone and check that how does the family enterprise perform? Is it growing? Because a successful enterprise should never be remaining the same size, even when they are paying school fees. Paying school fees is no excuse for a family enterprise not to continue to grow. So I told them, please, as you get out of out of the college, go home and begin to learn where mommy is getting money from. And if mommy is getting the money for your school fees only from salary, have a conversation with mommy and start telling mommy that, you know what, Miss Ochichi said that when you get a salary, 50% of it is for all the family needs, including school fees, medicals, and everything. 30% we should be investing. Mommy, where have you been putting this money? If you have been investing, mommy, can we start pressing how that investment is growing? In other words, we need to get our schools to not just treat our students as some warehoused goods, commodities or grains. That warehouse somewhere for a long time, then later you bring it and pour it to the market. These are people who are in this college environment, and then every term, end of term, they are back to the home and then practicing whatever they have been learning. And obviously, I also told them that, you know what, it is possible to get all these kind of sessions to happen in our schools, because the moment exams are done in first term or second term or third term, there are always about 3 days when these fellows are waiting for their report cards.
Yes, when they are
3 days. All those 3 days, they are just loitering and basically wasting those 3 days. Those are the days you bring in speakers. Day 1, another speaker. Day 2, another speaker. Day 3, another speaker. You've not affected too much the academic timetable, but you've given them something to go home with, so that they begin to appreciate that skills are practiced as quickly and as early as possible. You don't wait until you have gotten a degree in commerce to go and start looking the cash flow of somebody in Nakawa market. As you come for holidays, tell mommy, we always go to buy our tomatoes from that place, and then even the posh and water from this shop here. Can you tell the owner that I can go and check on their records? I just want to assist them to see what it means, whether their businesses are doing well. That's a BCom student beginning to practice BCom before he's out of college. And he's doing it without what you call formal placement. You know what they call placements?
Yes.
Let's do placements. It will assist our people. Those are what you call formal ones. Every homestead is interacting with some business somehow, wherever they are from. Let the young people go and practice their skills. Most enterprises.
Interesting. As we wind up this segment, Mr. Ochichi, can you give us some practical examples of a very strong work ethic? I know you personally, you have one, because definitely with what you have achieved over time, you've experienced, you have been through seasons which haven't been sometimes good. I'm sure some have been very good, but you've built the culture yourself. Share with us some practical hands-on experiences, day-to-day experiences that you say, this is a symptom of a very good work ethic?
I'll respond to that question by illustrating some of the things that you must exhibit when you have got a great work ethic. One of them is timekeeping.
Yeah. Wow.
Timekeeping. You go to a restaurant, you have put your request, and then you feel this person will place it to the person back at the kitchen somewhere there. And then you now start watching a football match. And they have given you, in 40 minutes, anything will be ready.
Yes.
For you, you know that come 40 minutes or slightly earlier, the fish is coming.
Yes.
So you now give a phone call to another person somewhere that, I'm still having a meal here, but within the next 1 hour, I should be able to see you.
Yeah.
You have made an appointment with somebody because of the time somebody gave you from this side.
Yeah.
He gave you that promise. You've worked on this promise. And then this person, you also give this person another appointment. This person also now will say, I will be meeting Johnson at 10:30. So please make sure that by this time I should have finished my other activities.
Yeah.
Then another person, then another. So from one promise of a person in the restaurant, you have created a chain of other promises.
Yeah.
And if this one person here just defaulted by 30 minutes, you can see how much you have disrupted the entire chain here. Somewhere along the way, somebody has got a dental appointment. And dental appointments are full.
Yeah.
You are not there on time, you've lost for that day.
True.
But he has got a dental issue.
Yeah.
But because of this one person here who took it so casually, that 40 minutes really, how can you also complain? I've just delayed by only 15 minutes. Only 15 minutes.
Yes.
Timekeeping is such a huge determinant.
We have a term called African time. I don't know if you've heard about it.
Very dangerous one.
Yes.
Never join that kind of approach. Because if there's anything where people normally immediately distinguish high quality service, it's the delivery time. They can now check on the quality later, but if just first come on time,
That's a check. Yeah.
that already is disarming someone.
Yeah.
So keeping time, keeping a promise. You promised me this kind of fish, and I chose that type of a fish. Then you are now bringing it and saying, anyway, because now the time was a bit tight that you asked for me, I changed the menu a bit. You've hurt me.
Yeah.
You've hurt me. I will be telling you, why didn't you tell me that if it is now this type of a quality of a meal, this is the extra time that I need. So, keeping your promise, keeping time is one big thing. If only Africans could start working on it, it would be a big way up there in terms of competing with the rest of the world.
Yeah.
And when you talk about all this, you'll find that people are missing orders for flowers, for fruits during Christmas, because you didn't keep time. You have promised to deliver for me diaries for the year 2023. I need my diaries out by 1st December or 30th of November, so that I've got enough time to dispute them.
Sure.
If I don't get them on time, then they come out in January and I start disputing them in January. My diary will be reaching a desk of my clients when other people have already supplied their diaries and they have started using them.
Yeah.
My diary will have lost its value.
True.
Keeping promises, extremely vital.
Yeah. I've been to a supermarket where they told me they didn't have change, so they asked me to keep the change. I'd never seen something like that.
Wow.
And this is a very big supermarket, which I really got surprised. But we are going to get back, Mr. Chichi, right after the very short break. We are talking work ethic and building a strong work culture to help, of course, improve our investments and our employment here in Uganda, and of course, get better opportunities ahead. I'm with Mr. Ochichi Charles, who is the Executive Director of Enterprise Uganda. We are taking a very short breather. Stay with us. Don't touch your dial.